Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Niddo Jaya Mudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we first offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead, Lord Narayana. Unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed to nil. And thus loving service unto the glorious Lord, who is praised with transcendental hymns, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, Punishment and Reward of Kali, text number 33, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Na Vati Tvabhyam Tat Adama Bando Navati Tvabhyam Taradama Bando Dharmena Satyena Cha Vati Tvabhye Dharmena Satyena Cha Vati Tvabhye Brahmavate Yatra Yajanti Jagner Brahmavate Yatra Yajanti Jagner Jagneshwaram Jaga Vitana Vijnana Jagdeshwaram Jagavitana Vijnana Navati Tvabhyam Taradama Bando Dharmena Satyena Chavati Tvabhye Brahmavate Yatra Yajanti Jagne Yagneshwaram Jagavitana Vijnana Navati Tvabhyam Taradama Bando Dharmena Satyena Chavati Tvabhye Brahmavate Yatra Yajanti Yagne Jagneshwaram Jagavitana Vijnana Navati Tvabhyam Taradama Bando Dharmena Satyena Chavati Tvabhye Brahmavate. Let's see, hold on a moment here. Let me try to get this together. Brahmavate Yaga. No. Brahmavate yatra yajanti jagne. Jagneshwaram jagavitana vijnana.
Yagneshwaram yagya.
I have a question. This last line there. Yagya or Jagya? Vijna or Vijana?
I say vijnana. Vijnana.
Vijnana.
That's what I
Vijnana.
Yes. Vijnana.
Vijnana.
Last one. Yagya or Jagya?
Both are okay.
Yeah. So,
Oh, Prabhupada used to say jaga, all right?
yes.
In Bengali it's Jagga, but in Sanskrit it's Yagya.
Yagya.
Both are okay.
Yagna. This one.
Did I write it right?
Yeah.
Navartitavyam tadadharma bandhu.
Navati tvabhyam taradharma bandho.
Dharmena satyena cha vartitavye.
Dhamena satyena cha vartitavye.
Brahma varte yatra yajanti yagye. Yageshwaram yagya vitana vijnana.
Yageshwaram jagavitana vijnana.
Navartitavyam tad adharma bandha.
Navati tvabhyam taradharma bandho.
Dharmena satyena cha vartitavya.
Dharmena satyena cha vartitave.
Brahma varte jatra jajagena jatena jogena.
Brahmavate yatra janti jagna.
Yogesaram yoge vitana vijnana.
Yogeshwaram yagya vitana vijnana.
Navatitavyam tadadharma bandho.
Navati tvabhyam taradharma bandho.
Dharmena satyena cha vartitavye.
Dhamena satyena cha vartitavye.
Brahma vitae yatra yajanti yagnair.
Brahmavate yatra yajanti yagna.
Yageshwaram yagya vitana vijya.
Yogeshwaram jagavitana vijnana. You gonna do it, Mara?
Navati Twamtad Adharma Bandho.
Navati tvabhyam taradharma bandho.
Dharmena satyena cha vartitave.
Dhamena satyena cha vartitavye.
Brahmavate yatra yajanti yajna.
Brahmavate yatra yajanti jagna.
Nishwaram yajna vitana vijna.
Yogeshwaram jagavitana vijnana. Did you want to do it, Nani? Anyone else? Okay, word for word. Not. Bhakti tvabhyam. Deserve to remain. Tat. Therefore. Adoma. Irreligiosity. Bando. Friend. Dormena. With religion. Satyena. With truth. Cha. Also. Bhakti tvabye. Being situated in. Brahma avate. Place where sacrifice is performed. Yatra. Where? Yajanti. Duly performed. Jagnai. By sacrifices or devotional service.
by sacrificing his own devotional service.
Jaga Ishwaram,
Yogindra,
unto the Supreme Lord,
unto the Supreme Lord,
the personality of Godhead.
personality of Godhead,
Yaga,
Yaga,
sacrifice.
sacrifice,
Vitana, spreading.
spread,
Vijnana,
Jnana,
expert. Translation. Therefore, O friend of irreligion, you do not deserve to remain in a place where experts perform sacrifices according to truth and religious principles for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please repeat. Therefore, O friend of irreligion, you do not deserve to remain in a place
you do not deserve to remain in a place
where experts perform sacrifices
where experts perform sacrifices
according to truth
according to truth
and religious principles
and religious principles
for the satisfaction of
for the satisfaction of
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Srila Prabhupada's divine purport. Jageshwar, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the beneficiary of all kinds of sacrificial ceremonies. 6 sacrificial ceremonies are prescribed differently in the scriptures for different ages. In other words, sacrifice means to accept the supremacy of the Lord and thereby perform acts by which the Lord may be satisfied in all respects. The atheists do not believe in the existence of God, and they do not perform any sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord. Any place or country where the supremacy of the Lord is accepted and thus sacrifice is performed is called Brahma Varta. There are different countries in different parts of the world. And each and every country may have different types of sacrifice to please the Supreme Lord. But the central point is pleasing Him is ascertained. But the central point in pleasing Him is ascertained in the Bhagavatam. And it is truthfulness. The basic principle of religion is truthfulness. And the ultimate goal of all religion is to satisfy the Lord. In the age of Kali, the greatest common formula of sacrifice is the Sankirtan Yoga. That is the opinion of the experts who know how to propagate the process of Jaga. Lord Chaitanya preached this method of Jaga. And it is understood from this verse that the sacrificial method of Sankirtan Yoga may be performed anywhere and everywhere in order to drive away the personality of Kali and save human society from falling prey to the influence of the age. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jageshwar, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the beneficiary of all kinds of sacrifices, of all kinds of sacrificial ceremonies. So in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 3, Krishna confirms that in the famous 9th verse. 9th verse. Jagnat tat kamanon yatra loko yam kamabandanaha. Taratam kamakunkeya muktasanga samachara work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duty for his satisfaction. And in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. So that is confirmed that Krishna, he is the person who receives the result of the sacrificial ceremony. Sacrifice is meant to please Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we perform it, it is meant to please Krishna, and sacrifice shouldn't be performed to please anyone else. We should go to the root, and then everything else will be satisfied. Whereas when we try to please individuals, then we may please them, but somebody else may not be satisfied. It's just not going to be as satisfactory as when we please the root. If we go directly to the root, then the whole tree will be satisfied. Prabhupada used to give that analogy. You water the root of the plant, and the whole plant is nourished. But if you just try to doctor up the leaves or the branches, and you never really serve the root, then the tree dies. So all of our endeavors are meant to please Krishna. Work is meant to be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna. And if we do that, then our whole life will flourish. But if we ignore Krishna, we may try to please this person and that person, the government, our employer. It will ultimately not fructify into a complete spiritual life, or a complete eternal life of knowledge and bliss, because the root is being ignored. We're trying to satisfy so many, and yet somehow ever we ignore Krishna. So that's a big mistake in human society. Prabhupada goes on to say 6 sacrificial ceremonies are prescribed differently in the scriptures for different ages. In other words, sacrifice means to accept the supremacy of the Lord, and thereby perform acts by which the Lord may be satisfied in all respects. The atheists do not accept the existence of God, and they do not perform any sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord. Any place or country where the supremacy of the Lord is accepted and thus sacrifice is performed is called Brahma Varta. There are different countries in different parts of the world, and each and every country may have different types of sacrifice to please the Supreme Lord. But the central point is pleasing. The central point, Prabhupada says, but the central point in pleasing him is ascertained in the Bhagavatam, and it is truthfulness. Now that's, Kali is doing its best to dismantle. Because in all countries of the world, our leaders prefer to be very diplomatic because they have to worry about being voted back in office. So therefore, they'll twist the truth to try to satisfy their constituency or their voters in order to maintain a post or a position where generally they're, exploiting money for wealth. They're taking, you can call it bribes, but they take payoffs. Lobbyists give them money. Companies give them money. So many things go on. So, they become very expert at twisting the truth for the pleasure of their constituency. That, happens among our big political leaders all over the world, unfortunately. So, but Prabhupada says, but the central point in pleasing the Lord is ascertained in the Bhagavatam. It is truthfulness. The basic principle of religion is truthfulness. And the ultimate goal of all religions is to satisfy the Lord. It is said that the earth cannot bear the weight of a liar. So the importance of truthfulness cannot be stressed. But in Kali Yuga, it's such a terrible, evil age, people are afraid to be truthful, because as soon as you're truthful, then people who behave as your enemies just tear you up. So people prefer to, avoid being completely truthful many times out of fear of disclosing it. Generally concerning themselves, they'll usually will want to be truthful about everything else other than ourselves, out of fear of what will happen if everybody really knew how bad I was, So it's the terrible nature of Kali Yuga, is yesterday's verse, very much stressed. If, Parikshit Maharaj was saying that if Kali is allowed to stay, then what's going to happen is that greed, and you see it all over the world, don't we? How much greed? Everybody just can't get enough. We always have to be, stashing more and more property, wealth, money, These people just can't get enough. Falsehood, so much propaganda. The biggest propaganda is that sex is going to make us happy. So therefore all advertisements appeals to our sexuality, because that's going to make us happy. If we use this razor, somehow or other, it's going to attract the opposite sex. We use this perfume, and somehow or other, it's going to attract the opposite sex, and that's going to make us happy. Always fulfilling our sexuality is going to make, but actually just the opposite happens. The person just goes berserk. He's got to run away because too much sex will just drive him crazy. We're not rabbits or pigeons. We're human beings, and there's only so much sex a human body can tolerate. Before it has an adverse effect. It's like trying to eat. How much can you eat? Or, drink. How much can you drink? And Krishna says in the Gita, everything has to be done in moderation. He's speaking to a human, Arjuna. So for a human being, we have to do things in moderation. And he says, one cannot be happy. Eating too much, eating too little. Sleeping too much, sleeping too little. All these things have to be properly regulated for a human being to work properly. As soon as we think that, smoking is going to make me happy, and we start smoking, just the opposite happens. But yet, what do? They advertise as though it's truthful. Smoking is going to make you happy. But it never makes anyone happy. Just temporarily it may make somebody happy. But then we become sick, we get disease, and we die unhappy. And they just think of all the advertisement, how false it is. And yet, that's, there it is, falsehood, age of Kali. Just so much falsehood, they just ramming down everybody's brain. Our brain gets contaminated by it all. And robbery, so much robbery, and we don't even understand the extent of white-collar crimes. It goes on in government. And then, one's political enemy, they look to see where somebody did something wrong, because then they're going to bring them down. Otherwise, generally, they get away with it all the time. So much white-collar crime, what to speak of, outright robbery at gunpoint. It's just terrible. Incivility. Even the president of the country gets into quarrels and fights. Incivility. It goes on every place. Treachery. Boy, it's terrible in politics, but it happens in church. They say worse than government politics is church politics. That's what many people say. Wherever there's money, there's politics. Misfortune. Who can deny that? So much misfortune in the world. Cheating, quarrel, and yet throughout the whole mess, vanity. Everyone is simply vain despite how bad it all is. And that's Kali Yuga. And that's what happens. As soon as we don't please Krishna and, truthfulness falls away. What can be done about it? What can be done about it? Here Prabhupada tells us, and it's really neat because it's so easy. He says in this age of Kali, the greatest common formula of sacrifice is the Sankirtan Yaga. That is the opinion of the experts who know how to propagate the process of Jaga. Lord Chaitanya prescribed this method of Jaga, and it is understood from this verse that the sacrificial method of Sankirtan Yaga may be performed anywhere and everywhere. It may be performed anywhere and everywhere in order to drive away the personality of Kali and save human society from falling prey to the influence of the age. So all these bad influences can be driven away by the performance of Sankirtan Yaga. And that's our prime duty. And that's why we put a stress on, waking up early and chanting Hare Krishna, because it's a sacrifice. And that sacrifice will drive away Kali. Our whole movement is the Sankirtan movement. Devotees go through so great endeavors to perform this Sankirtan Yaga for the people. Indradumna Maharaj just did a tour of 30 universities, putting on a big, extravagant performance, which was basically Sankirtan Yaga. Selling books, chanting the holy names, making everything very beautiful and wonderful through performing arts for the public to get a taste. And, that's just one thing that has went on. It's going on, wherever Prabhupada's disciples and their disciples are on the face of the earth. And it has to spread more and more and more and more and more in order to save us from this hellish age of Kali, which is, just creating more and more misfortune in the world. It'll be really nice when, everything becomes more purified, and there'll be less misfortune, less hungry people, less war-torn countries, less exploitation of the market and prices, more fair distribution of wealth amongst human beings for everyone's overall prosperity rather than a few. Good government that instead of being corrupt by so many mobsters, instead can you imagine just having good, honest government from the local level to the state level to the federal level? It would be a wonderful world, and it's very frustrating that for intelligent people we can't do that. That's how powerful Kali is. That with our vanity we exhibit ourselves as the epitome of the human race. The evolution has brought us to this point of an intellectia amongst human society that this is the best time ever. But yet Kali is so powerful that there's so much corruption, so much misfortune, and greed and anger in society, and exploitation of the weak. Beginning with, the cripple, the poor, the women, the children, the saintly people. He's a saintly person. They're honest, they're humble. They can be easily ripped off. we do about it? What could we do about it personally? As soon as you stand up for the truth, you run for office, all they do is just tear you down. It may maybe even look like an accident to get rid of somebody. So what can we possibly do? The only thing that's possible is this Sankirtan Yoga. Somehow, ever by the power of the holy name, it goes on. Otherwise, if they knew it was changing everything, they would ban it. They would stop it. They would, it would be the greatest offense. Lord Chaitanya did it at the height of the Mughal Empire. Try to understand, the Mughal Empire was one of the richest dynasties on the earth. European kings were amazed by the opulence of the Mughal kings. They wrote about it. They would go back to Europe and talk about it. But the truth of the matter is that it was a big exhibition, because all of their wealth, their income, was almost exceeded by their expenses. And where did those expenses go? You think our governments, or what would be the proper word? It's not exact. It's a corruption, but it's not a corruption. You think our governments are so full of fear and for security that we have to spend 60% of our national budget on the military. Can you imagine if all that went to welfare and education? I mean, would anybody have to worry about going to a doctor? You would just go where you wanted to go, and the doctor would be glad to see you. Anybody could go to any school that they wanted. But no, we have to do it because we're afraid of the next country coming here and hurting us. So we spend, what is it, 60%? I'm not sure if it's even that much, maybe 50%. I'm not sure what it is, but it's very high. The Mughal Empire spent 80 to 90 or more. It was nothing but a big military complex. And the only way it was kept alive was by ripping off somebody else. Going in and defeating someone that you've made your enemy because they haven't paid you enough. And then just taking all of their women and all their children into forced labor or slavery. That's what they would do. Yet Lord Chaitanya chanted the holy names there, even though it wasn't allowed. Now we can say God got away with it, but God empowered his name for everyone to chant. Otherwise, how is it possible that Srila Prabhupada brought the holy name of Krishna here? It was considered a foreign name. Nobody wanted a foreign religion, especially one that was considered poverty-stricken. But Srila Prabhupada brought it here and chanted it here. And, his disciples went out and chanted it, despite the persecution. And that went on all over the world, despite the persecutions in so many different countries. The holy name has been given to people. And when people chant those holy names, they derive benefit. And somehow ever, by the power of Krishna, we can't comprehend it because it's Krishna's power. How can we comprehend the power of the Almighty that has breathed everything out and is giving life to everything? Is the ability in everyone. How can we comprehend his power? It's impossible. But yet that name is him, that vibration is him. And he's giving himself to us in this age to drive away the personality of Kali, drive away all the misfortune, drive away all the corruption, drive away all of the ill behavior and things that are just, polluting society and making us, afraid of one another. That's the power of the holy name. We have all become so fortunate to receive the name, and all the name is asking is for us to give the holy name to someone else. To chant the holy name, especially in public. And congregationally, we may feel weak by ourselves. But it said, to perform it congregationally. So that way, we can have something that generates enthusiasm, and enlivens us to have others that also deriving bliss from the holy name, and they're chanting it. Like at some of the Sankirtans that Charupa has told me about, that he's seen on YouTube. In Russia, sometimes the Sankirtan party extends for 3 blocks long as they go down the street. Now, you couldn't have done that in the 1970s or the 1980s, probably not even the 1990s. But here they got a Sankirtan party that's going down the street that's 3 blocks long. And there's all sorts, and they're all young people in their 20s, and there's beautiful girls. And because there's beautiful girls, there's also young men. And that's just one place. I mean, our devotees take pictures in New Orleans, and they got all kinds of ladies and children and devotees all out there. And most of them are Indians. I don't know if it would have been so much tolerated in the 1970s. What are you Indians doing here? You can't be doing this in public. I mean, it wouldn't even let the white people do it in public. Without taking the city to the Supreme Court, to federal court, in order just to go chant Krishna's names. Otherwise, they would have just beat us down. They would have beat us down if we didn't take them to court to allow us to chant Krishna's names. So in this way, the world is becoming changed. It is becoming a better place. Devotees are chanting everywhere. Swamis are going everywhere, distributing the holy names. Prasadam is going out. Just yesterday in New Orleans, Shraddha Devi said, "Can you please bring me 2 gallons of milk?" There's some Jain guru that's come to New Orleans, big, famous guru amongst the Jain people. Those are the people that used to go naked and sweep the road in front of them so they wouldn't step on any insect, and wear masks so they wouldn't breathe in anything. So anyway, they're still very strict about their diet, and this Jain guru won't drink any milk unless it comes directly from the cow. So he said that they've asked us to cater him while he's here. But he won't drink any milk that's store-bought. So I have to bring him 2 gallons of milk today. So many ways the Sankirtan movement is just spreading across the earth. Just in all the media that people can use to pollute their mind, we can take that same media, instead of watching all the nonsense that's put on, and we can look at the Sankirtan movement all over the world, all the things it's doing, all the devotees that are accomplishing wonderful feats. All right, it's almost 8:30. I'm going to have to go. Are there any comments or questions? Mother Jai Patni?
Are all of the, like the other yoga systems, aimed at pleasing the Lord?
Well, if they're that spiritual, a lot of them aren't so spiritual. A lot of them are for, material health and welfare. It depends on, I guess it depends on the leader, the leader of that particular yoga studio, how much they've comprehended on that level, how much they want to comprehend on that level. A lot of them keep it it's sort of exercise and gymnastics to lose weight and remain flexible and keep good health. But there's lots of them, just lots of them, who are into pleasing the Supreme Lord, and I'm sure they all have different realizations of the absolute truth. We have to somehow ever teach that God is ultimately the Supreme Person, and because He is the Supreme Person, He has the best personality, and He's the best amongst us. There's a word, Varindram, which means the best person. So we can be friendly, but Krishna is the supreme friend. No one can be more friendly than Krishna. We can be a little kind, but no one can be kinder than Krishna. Krishna is just unlimitedly kind and generous. So we have that's a great job. Prabhupada came here to break up all these ideas of the absolute truth being impersonal and void. But that's very popular, very popular. Really, that Buddhist philosophy fits in a lot with modern science, and they really believe everything comes out of nothing, and that, to become nothing again is the best. That's the nirvana. That's the perfection of life. Nirvana is to simply dismantle everything and to become nothing again. And that's very popular in our modern world. Most so many people who believe in the Big Bang and all those scientific theories. And then this sunyavadi, that it's ultimately impersonal, it somehow ever comes out of the all-pervasive light, the Brahman, the spirit, and it's taken form, but in reality it's just all-pervasive consciousness, and we have to return to that. It doesn't require us to develop our personal qualities. It's a real job to try to make ourselves a better person to please Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Person, and He wants all of His parts and parcels, all of His servants to also be good persons. So to do that's a chore, growing up in Kali Yuga, we've all developed so many bad qualities. So then to try to change the qualities that we may be habituated to, people have so many habits, and we get habituated to our habits, and then to try to make them all good can be a great chore for people. People have a lot of difficulties. There's a lot of drug abuse and substance abuse around the world, and we have a hard time just changing that. I mean, it's a rampant, it's just rampant all over the world. And, we have a hard time just changing that, what to speak about all the other things, all the other. So it's a real chore to practice bhakti yoga. It's a lot easier just to practice impersonal liberation, or, to dismantle everything and become nothing again. The problem with those things is that, I'm something and I'm trying to become nothing. And I'm a person, but I'm trying to become impersonal. But, if that's what somebody wants to do, that's what they want to do. But, to actually try to become the best person I can be for the pleasure of Krishna, that's a pretty hard operation. It's not an easy operation. It takes, every day working on it. Because every day you test it. Every single day there's a test. Are you really, up to, are you really top-notch? Are you really up to the, what Krishna expects, what people expect, Krishna's devotees to be like? So every day it's a big test. We just have to try to do our best. And again, if we can change the world by chanting Hare Krishna, we can also change ourselves. So, when we may be a big failure in a lot of ways, but if we just keep chanting, then gradually we'll get better, and we'll be able to join the Lord's Leela sooner or later, But it's a wonderful Leela right now. I mean, this is just a great Leela that we get to go out and help, all the unfortunate souls. There's so many suffering people. I mean, war has torn our world apart, and people are suffering because of it. People are suffering because of hunger. We can somehow ever get some food and make it into prasadam and go and distribute it. I mean, there's just so much suffering, and we can help people. If we went to a hospital, I mean, people would, love to see us doing something to help the lonely and the sick and the feeble, and so just by chanting Hare Krishna, we can enable ourselves and help save the world. Hare Krishna. Hope that didn't overdo it, Mother Jayapati.
No, thank you. That was
Yeah, we're able to take advantage of those yoga studios. They're doing really nice, And the devotees there's so many of them that are friendly to devotees, and so many of them that have connections. It's part of the Sankirtan movement's growth. Today, USM's coming here, for those that don't know. The students 50 years and older. It's an old person's group. Be as many as 20. And Jesse's, he's like the orchestrator of it, So that will begin at 10 o'clock. And then also, Bia Krishna Maharaj will be here on December the 3rd. And he'll stay with us until probably Friday. And then he leaves Friday evening to go to the New Orleans Ratha Yatra, which is December the 8th, Saturday, December the 8th this year.
What day is the 3rd?
I'm not sure. Figured out. The 8th is Saturday.
Okay. Yeah.